Alright, hello everyone. Welcome back to another thrilling episode of Mark's classes. Okay, today we are going to be following a pattern you may have noticed if you've seen other videos. I'm a big fan of the flipped classroom methodology, when possible, okay? Or sort of a hybrid blend. It doesn't have to be well, sometimes flipped classroom, for those who are not aware, is when we basically use outside of the classroom time, since we're all connected to our devices, our tablets, our phones, computers almost 24/7. The concept is you can give to your students short videos. The key there is short, so it takes advantage of the time. The students then who learn fast can just watch it once, boom, it's done. If it takes them a bit longer, they can view the videos many times. They can write comments in the comments part, or write the teacher directly if they're confused. And what this does is it frees up more time also for in the classroom, reinforcement, evaluation, and actually being able to do guided practices and working with the structures we're learning instead of lecture, where one student's learning quickly and other didn't get it, but we have to move on. That being said, to begin our class today, we are talking about ing versus infinitive forms. And as I mentioned earlier, what we should have done is first go to my YouTube channel, Mark White Teacher, and there you'll find a video where I'm instructing the ing versus infinitive verb forms. Spoiler alert, this is one of those grammatical topics that can be at times maybe can pose some difficulties in teaching because there are not a lot of rules behind why some verbs and some patterns become a gerund or an infinitive. And of course we also have bare infinitive, that's another category. And so to avoid redundancy and boredom in the class, when we have a grammatical situation like this, what I like to do is make some kind of game out of it. Okay, so instead of just obviously endlessly reading lists that are taken out of context or just boring, your brain can't absorb this information. What we do instead is we play games. Okay, so today we have a type of game as well. And that being said, I want to take a brief look at some examples. One thing we should know about these ing or gerund versus infinitive verbs is there are many exceptions. Many times you can say both, and sometimes they have nearly the same meaning, and other times they have totally different meanings, and sometimes you have to say one or the other, right? So some examples could be, I never remember to lock the door. Right, that's one sentence. And perhaps we'll see some sort of shades of differences if we say, I never remember locking the door. And what we have here are some slightly different meanings if we analyze the sentence, right? Let's look at some other verbs. So if we say a sentence like, she decided, and the verb will be, excuse me, my brain is going to Spanish. It's going to be to go or going. Okay, these are the options. She decided either to go or going. with Mark instead. Now this is tricky because, boom, if this was not a full stop, a completed closed sentence, you might choose a different option, but as it is, which would it be, right? This would be clearly to go, right? It has to be to go, this option. So, basically what we will now do is, I gave many more specific examples on my YouTube channel site, and we can look at lists, and actually I have lists on my lesson plan, which you all can see, but for now, we're going to move on to the activity. This is sort of a compressed micro lesson. And the activity today, oops, okay, the activity today involves a lovely sort of game where what we do is we take our class, we divide them into groups, and we say, we want you to make 2 truths and 1 lie. And of course we want to make sure it's clear the meanings of these words beforehand. But they will be making sentences using verbs from our list of either gerund or infinitive common verbs. And what we will do is, I have with me some props today. Each group will be making 2 truths and 1 lie, and then the rest, and they will go taking turns saying their 2 truths and 1 lie. The rest need to listen for the verbs that they've included, and when they hear these common verbs that are in the list on the lesson plan that we'll put on the board as well, when they hear them, they need to try to identify if they have correctly put them in the gerund or infinitive. So the rest of the groups, while they're listening to the one that's presenting, will have made little flags, hopefully more decorative and beautiful than my sort of simple example. And when they hear the verb in question, they'll hold it up. Is it gerund? They'll hold up infinitive if you think it's infinitive, or bare infinitive. These are not common, the cases of bare infinitive, but as a reminder, this is when we have, this is infinitive but without 2, okay? So, so that is it. Points will be scored based upon how accurately they're able to identify each verb in the sample sentences and which groups are able to identify most accurately the truths and the lies. That's it. Thanks very much.